Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Housing Finance Conference this year for the ICSH, and to all of your members, of course, and to all of the other guests that are here from local authorities, from financial institutions, from the banking sector, and from other stakeholders who are interested in making things happen, particularly around social housing provision. As you know, the government's new approach to homelessness and housing is called Rebuilding Ireland. We plan on making nearly €5.5 billion available of public money over the next 5 to 6 years to dramatically increase the numbers of social housing units across the country. In simple terms, we want to add nearly 50,000 social housing units to the existing housing stock, which is to add about 30% to the existing social housing national stock. The important thing I want to emphasise this morning is that I see this as a partnership between national government, local government and approved housing bodies, and of course financing institutions and organisations, along with public funding models, whether that be through the CAS system or through the CAF system. And the message I have for you is very clear. We want you to be ambitious. We want you to develop and encourage partnerships between local authorities and approved housing bodies together. We want approved housing bodies working with private developers as well, not just in terms of Part 5, but maybe going well beyond the Part 5 requirements of 10% of private developments. And from my perspective, I see the approved housing body sector as a really, really important cog in the overall engine here to dramatically increase housing provision. We've seen how that can work in the past. We have many different types of approved housing bodies in Ireland, from very small entities to much bigger ones. I'd also like approved housing bodies to consider working together in partnership, trying to create potentially economies of scale, maybe making it easier to finance bigger projects, and maybe even look at consolidation within the AHB sector. But the most important thing really is outcomes, where we have organisations who are passionate about delivering sustainable homes for people, whether that's for homeless people, whether it's linking with a special need, whether that's addiction management, whether it's mental health, whether it's the disability sector. The AHB sector spans so many different sectoral interests, as well as simply focusing on good social housing provision in terms of projects, but also, as importantly, good social housing management systems so that we're building communities. From my perspective, we want to build a very different type of community around social housing. In the past, Ireland has proven itself to be quite effective in building large numbers of social housing, but they have largely happened separate from private housing construction. We now want to be much more sophisticated and much more intelligent about how we build communities in the future. So we're looking at mixed tenure, we're looking at different types of design, we're looking at requiring large social housing projects to specifically cater for elderly people, as well as people with a disability, as well as people who may be coming from homelessness and the wraparound services that are required as part of a Housing First model. So we would like to see, through better design and through better management, better outcomes in terms of community development, whereby when you drive into a housing estate or a development, that you don't notice the obvious differences between the quality of design and management of social housing versus private housing. And I think we've made some mistakes in the past. I think we need to be honest about that, and we need to try and correct it. So we have a relentless pursuit, if you like, within the Department of Housing now to work with AHBs, to work with you, to also work with the banking sector, to obviously partner with organisations like the Housing Finance Agency and the Housing Agency, and with all of the key local authorities where the main housing pressures are, to encourage them to work with you as the approved housing body sector, to make sure that together we are all pulling or pushing in the same direction, We're providing the policy certainty and the funding certainty and supports that you need to be able to make a significant step forward in terms of the levels of ambition around how many social houses we can deliver in a sustainable, community-based manner and how quickly we can do it. So, you know, the message is clear. If you've got ideas, if you've got criticisms, we want to hear them. But most importantly, we want you to take a more ambitious approach over the next number of years in terms of delivery, project management, financing, and we're there to help you do that, whether that's through agencies of the state or whether it's directly coming from the department. So look, I hope today is a success. I hope that the conversations we have can result in actual delivery so that the banking and financing sector get the assurances that they need, that obviously we get the ambition that we need from the AHB sector, whether it's a speciality that you're providing within housing provision or whether it's simply broader social housing construction or conversion for that matter, from vacant properties into use in the future. But the bottom line here is we need more houses built. We need more houses coming into the private rental sector and the social rental sector. And we need good management of communities so that we're building and ensuring better outcomes for families and individuals who rely on the state or on an AHB for some assistance in terms of a sustainable and attractive home for themselves and their families. So help us do this. There is a really, really strong commitment coming from government now. I think if you look at the decisions that were made last week in the budget, you know, we've seen a 50% increase in 1 year in the housing budget, from 800 million to 1.2 billion. In fact, when you add in what local authorities are going to contribute on top of that, it's about 1.3 billion next year for housing. So there's a real priority and commitment at the heart of government and at the very top of government to assist you in the work that you're doing. But if we don't create that partnership and if we don't have a common level of ambition to deliver quickly, but also ensure that we're delivering the right type of housing delivery for good community development and diverse community development, you know, well then, you know, we're going to get frustrated with each other, and I don't want that. So have a good day today, and I'll certainly be very interested in the outcomes from the seminar today, and I'll have good feedback from the representatives that are there from my own department. So thank you and good luck for the rest of the day.